This Saturday, all eyes were on the North London derby, and my prediction of 2-1 to Tottenham would have been true were it not for the sending off, by the way. But the real match of the weekend was always going to be at Loftus Road. A high-pressure game, more so for Queen's Park Rangers than Southampton, given the millions of pounds that they've spent. Every week I'm expecting Rangers to take off and give someone a good hammering, especially when I look at their team. But it's not happening for them at the minute, and Saturday was a must-win, even this early in the season. You could see that Southampton went there and played with freedom and confidence, which is all credit to the players, and in particular to the manager, Nigel Adkins, who seems to have enabled his team to go out and express themselves with little fear. After a while, I believe there's not much a manager can do to galvanise his team, because losing becomes a tough mentality to break out of. More often than not, if you concede the first goal, it's game over. Football is all about confidence, and QPR seem to be very short of it. I've heard people say Hughes and even Roberto Di Matteo have lost the dressing room. Well, the reality is that players will, individually or collectively, make their minds up pretty quickly as to whether they respect a manager or not. Now, I don't know if it's the case with Hughes or even Di Matteo that they don't have the respect of their players. I actually doubt it is. But it is something that happens. In my early career, I played for a manager who became obsessed with telling us how much money we earned, as if guilt was supposed to make us perform better. That was our motivational half-time team talk. For the money you're earning, do you think that's good enough? What are you meant to do with that? How can you respect a guy who quite clearly shows you no respect? He never played to the level we were at, or earned the money we did, and it bugged him. Each player needs to be treated differently, and not everyone will suddenly leap into action after being reminded that the fans in the stand pay their hard-earned cash to watch you underperform. We already know they do. That's the challenge for Mark Hughes now, managing an assortment of highly paid stars who have won championships and Champions Leagues galore. The QPR fans heckled them with, "You're only here for the money." And whilst that would definitely have been their sole incentive to join from Man United, Chelsea, Inter Milan or Real Madrid, believe me, no player takes any pride in losing. None that I've played with anyway. As a professional footballer, they'll be trying to win. That's not in doubt. Now, if QPR's expensively assembled squad are the biggest underachievers, then West Brom have taken the biggest overachievers tag off of Newcastle from last season. They have been nothing short of magnificent. I like Steve Clarke. He seems a very unassuming man who, when he speaks, you listen. It's no coincidence that he's worked with top managers like Jose Mourinho and Kenny Dalglish, managers who've commanded the sort of respect that Mark Hughes must be craving. Dalglish may have underperformed in some people's eyes in his second managerial stint at Liverpool, but just ask Suarez and company how much they appreciated him. In the dressing room with Mourinho and Dalglish, Clarke would have been like a sponge, taking in everything and looking at the ways they did things. Sometimes, coaches and ex-players can become managers too early without actually learning the trade and go into it blind and oblivious to the dangers. As a coach, you don't have to be the bad guy. You don't have to take the flak either. The coach is often the go-to guy for the players to get away with stuff, and that was the case with us. Now, this won't come as a surprise to you, but pre-season tours often lend the opportunity for players to break curfew and let their hair down away from the British media. This is when you're looking for a friend on the staff to watch your back, because it's not easy to organise 20 or so footballers collectively to hide a big night out. Our coach knew we were out and knew he'd be called on, and he was. At silly o'clock in the morning, he took the SOS call from a splattering of drunk players in compromising situations and proceeded to bring the minibus to collect us and return us safely to our rooms. Managers know it happens, but most just don't want to have to deal with it. That's the job of the coach or assistant manager. Now, our man never told our manager and got instant respect for that. Clarke has now had to make the transition from being that guy to being the manager turning a blind eye, or not. There's more than one way to succeed in management, and Steve Clarke has made the shift from coach to the hot seat seamlessly, proving you can gain respect without having a managerial track record. He's come in at West Brom at the right time and used all the experience he's picked up working under previous managers. I can see Clarke going on to be a top manager himself. Mark Hughes may have one more chance to prove to Tony Fernandes that he can too. That's next weekend's away game against Manchester United. I'm the Secret Footballer. For the latest from me, subscribe at Copper90. Arsenal v Tottenham has always been a bit more than your average derby. It's only really since Lasagna Gate that it's had the aggressive rivalry of old restored.
It's Socceropoly, the new board game for people who own football clubs. Take charge of your favourite team and lead them to financial glory. It's my birthday. Collect £15. Okay.